Hello all, hope all of you are doing well. So the topic that I'll be presenting today is the rise of the Russian Mafia in the post-Soviet world after the fall of USSR. So the main factors which paved the way for the dominance of the organized crime, Russian organized crime post the Soviet breakdown are the privatization policy introduced by the democratic government, the weak legal structure, and followed by the professionalism of the mafia. So Russian mafia did not just came into being right after the USSR dissolved. It was always there. It had always been there. Since the time of the Caesars, it was there. In the early 17th century, a lot of criminals and thieves thrived in Russia, and together they formed a nexus of groups with strict honor codes and institutionalized criminal network. Furthermore, in 1960s, in the vibrant black market of Russia, the criminals acted as middlemen, official middlemen, and transported a lot of privately produced goods. And so, as their profits grew, they colluded with some of the Soviet government officials, and because of that, they became a normal part of the society. They became part of the government, the legal structure. So, what paved the way for their dominance after the Soviet breakdown? Well, the first factor is the privatization. The privatization policy, which was introduced by the democratic government, though the main motive of this privatization policy was to transfer the communist state holdings back to the people, back to the ordinary people. But unfortunately, only the mafia groups and organized crime took benefit from these policies, as they were the only ones who had a large sum of capital at their hands, a large sum of money in their hands. So they were able to buy a lot of lucrative state-owned buildings and services. Mafia gained control of around 50 to 80% of services and properties in Moscow, which further strengthened their positions. Aside from that, a lot of corrupt bureaucrats and civil servants also took bribes to favor these mafia groups, to assign them a lot of lucrative state-owned buildings. Moving on, a weak legal structure also helped in strengthening these mafia groups. The police and the law enforcement agencies were really weak and ill-equipped as compared to these mafia groups. They were better equipped in terms of weapons, communication systems, and transportation. Aside from this, corruption in the police also was a major cause of the weakening of this legal structure. Around 20,000 police officers were being fired yearly for collusion with the mafia. And of these police officers, a lot of young police officers fell prey to mafia because they were paid handsome amount of money to do the illegal activities. And so it weakened the Russian law enforcement agencies. Russia also did not have a strong legislative structure in place. It did not have sanctions for money laundering, strict policies for private banking, or any audits, which made illegal activities easy to be carried out. And there was no fear of any persecution or execution uh, for the criminals. So they carried out their illegal activities openly and freely and without any fear. A lack of legal culture was also a big factor in the weakening of the legal structure, because everybody, even the ordinary people, were involved in some sort of crime, in some sort of illegal activity, and they thought that this is the normal. So there were no any real efforts in improving the legal structure or the legal framework. And lastly, a lot of highly skilled individuals entered the organized crime, which is known as the professionalism of the mafia. A lot of former Soviet government employees and KGB workers KGB was the National Security Agency of Russia till it dissolved. A lot of these former workers joined the ranks of Mafia, and they brought along with them a lot of skill, experience, contacts, and informants, which further strengthened these groups of the network of these organized crime groups. Scientists unfortunately also chose this path because of the lack of incentives from the government and the lucrative offers made by the mafia. Scientists also shook hands with them. Two types of scientists mainly were the target of the mafia: the chemists and the nuclear physicists. Chemists produced synthetic drugs which the mafia sold and were highly profitable for them, and nuclear physicists also earned them profits by opening new markets. So was these were the factors in whole which proved to be important in the dominance of the Russian mafia, and in the flourishment of the Russian mafia, the rise of the Russian mafia after the Soviet Union dissolved. So these were the factors which proved to be decisive in the rise of the Russian mafia post the Soviet breakdown. The future of these organized crimes lies in the white collar. Professional criminals from the old style criminal underworld are now shifting over to the more high powered white collar criminal world. They invest and launder their illegal money, and they are active in real estate, banking, and foreign trade.